Welcome to our channel. Today we're exploring the life and career of David Allan Coe, a controversial yet undeniably influential figure in the world of country music. Known for his raw, unfiltered lyrics and outlaw persona, Coe's journey from a troubled childhood to becoming a country music legend is both fascinating and turbulent. Join us as we dive into the highs and lows of his career, the controversies that surrounded him, and the legacy of his unforgettable contributions to music. David Allan Coe's life began in Akron, Ohio on September 6, 1939. Born into humble beginnings, Coe's childhood was far from idyllic. Even as a boy, music became a sanctuary for him, offering an escape from the struggles of his early years. He was particularly drawn to the deep, resonant voice of Johnny Cash, whose songs about hardship and resilience resonated with Coe and planted the seeds for what would one day become his own unique style of storytelling through music. However, Coe's formative years were marred by a turbulent path. At just 9 years old, he was sent to the Star Commonwealth for Boys, a reform school designed for troubled youth. This marked the beginning of a long and often painful journey through the American correctional system. Over the next 2 decades, Coe found himself cycling in and out of various facilities, including a significant 3-year stint in the Ohio Penitentiary. During his time behind bars, Coe encountered an unexpected mentor and source of inspiration, Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Known for his theatrical and unconventional musical style, Hawkins was not only a fellow inmate, but also someone who saw potential in Coe. It was Hawkins who encouraged him to begin writing songs, planting a creative spark that would later grow into a prolific career. This mentorship was a turning point for Coe, transforming the bleak environment of prison into an unlikely incubator for his artistry. After serving another prison term in 1967, Coe decided to rewrite his life's narrative, venturing into the heart of the music world, Nashville. Without money or a place to call home, he made a hearse from his living quarters and parked it in front of the legendary Ryman Auditorium. By day, he performed his songs on the street, pouring his soul into every lyric and melody, hoping to catch the ear of someone who could change his fortunes. That someone turned out to be Shelby Singleton, the owner of Plantation Records, an independent label known for taking risks on unconventional talent. Singleton saw something in Coe, something raw, unpolished, and deeply authentic, and signed him to a contract, giving Coe his first real shot at a music career. His voice, described as a throaty baritone, carried a unique blend of grit and emotion, making it instantly recognizable. Lyrically, Coe had a knack for combining humor with audacious commentary, often touching on themes that others wouldn't dare to explore. Critics were divided in their assessments of Coe's artistry. William Ruhlman once described him as a near parody of a country singer, a nod to his ability to simultaneously embrace and satirize the genre's conventions. On the other hand, Stephen Thomas Erlewine praised him as a great, unashamed country singer, singing the purest, honky-tonk, and hardest country of his era, emphasizing his authenticity and commitment to the outlaw ethos. David Allan Coe's early career from 1970 to 1975 was a period of artistic exploration and significant milestones that laid the foundation for his unique legacy. It all began in 1970 with the release of his debut album, Penitentiary Blues. The raw and deeply personal album, infused with themes of hardship and survival from Coe's own turbulent past, marked the arrival of an artist unafraid to delve into the darker corners of life. To promote the album, Coe toured with Grand Funk Railroad, showcasing his talent to audiences who were not yet accustomed to his gritty, genre-blending style. By 1971, Coe's songwriting talents had caught the attention of Nashville's elite. He signed an exclusive deal with Pete and Rose Drake's Windows Publishing Company, where he worked until 1977. Although his performances during this time cultivated a dedicated cult following, mainstream success eluded him. However, Coe's songs were finding their way to the top of the charts through other artists. Billy Joe Spears recorded Souvenirs in California Memories in 1972, while Tanya Tucker's 1973 single, Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone, became a number one hit. The latter cemented Coe's status as one of Nashville's most sought-after songwriters and earned him a recording contract with Columbia Records. Coe's second Columbia album, Once Upon a Rhyme, released in 1975, featured his own rendition of Would You Lay With Me, a song Tom Jurek, of AllMusic, praised for its timeless quality, stating, "The amazing thing is that both versions are definitive." The album also included one of Coe's most iconic tracks, You Never Even Called Me by My Name. Originally written by Steve Goodman and John Prine, the song humorously critiqued the cliches of country music. After a correspondence with Goodman, who jokingly claimed it was the perfect country and western song, Coe challenged him to prove it. Goodman responded by adding a verse that included all the tropes Coe listed: trains, trucks, prison, mama, and drinking. Coe recorded the final version, complete with this additional verse, and the song became his first top 10 country hit, peaking at number 8 in 1975. Coe's third album, The Mysterious Rhinestone Cowboy, marked a pivotal shift in his career, signaling his full embrace of country music and solidifying his role in the burgeoning outlaw country movement. The album's title referenced Coe's flamboyant stage persona, which predated Glenn Campbell's hit, Rhinestone Cowboy. Coe would perform in rhinestone-studded suits given to him by country legend Mel Tillis, and wore a Lone Ranger mask, an idea inspired by his father. Coe later recounted how his father explained the practicality of the mask. It allowed him to separate his stage persona from his private life, much like the Lone Ranger could blend in when unmasked. This theatrical persona made Coe stand out in a crowded Nashville scene and became an enduring symbol of his individuality. In 1975, he contributed to Johnny Cash's John R. Cash album by writing the song Cocaine Carolina and providing background vocals. That same year, Coe was featured in Heart-Worn Highways, a documentary chronicling the outlaw country movement. Sharing the spotlight with Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt, and Steve Earle, Coe's participation in the film showcased his integral role in a musical revolution that challenged the polished conventions of mainstream country. By 1976, David Allan Coe was riding the wave of the outlaw country movement, a genre that had finally brought massive commercial success to icons like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings. But even among the outlaws, Coe stood out, almost too rebellious, too eccentric, and too defiant to fit neatly into their ranks. As AllMusic aptly described, Coe's wild aesthetic of long hair, multiple earrings, rhinestone-studded suits, Harley-Davidson boots, and oversized belt buckles made him difficult for the industry to take seriously. Yet Coe, being the provocateur he was, leaned into these stereotypes, using them as a badge of honor rather than toning them down for broader acceptance. During this time, Coe retired his mysterious rhinestone cowboy persona, replacing it with the rugged, no-holds-barred identity of the long-haired redneck. This transformation was encapsulated in his 1976 album Long-Haired Redneck, his third release under Columbia Records and the first on which he wrote or co-wrote all the tracks. The title track perfectly captured the ethos of the outlaw movement, painting a vivid scene of a dive bar where bikers, cowboys, and hippies awkwardly coexist, each staring down the other. Coe's sharp lyrics and vocal impersonations of country legends like Ernest Tubb and Merle Haggard added depth to the song, which resonated with fans who felt alienated by the country music establishment. Coe later explained that the term long-haired redneck was his way of challenging stereotypes. Not all long-haired men were hippies, and not all were pacifists. By 1977, the outlaw country movement was reaching its zenith, propelled by groundbreaking albums like Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger and the genre's first platinum record, Wanted, The Outlaws. Coe believed he was as integral to this revolution as anyone and expressed this sentiment in his music. His 1977 album Rides Again opened with Willie, Waylon, and Me, a bold declaration of his alignment with the movement's leaders. However, this move sparked controversy among his peers. While Coe considered himself an equal to Nelson and Jennings, others saw it as self-aggrandizing. Jennings himself admitted in his autobiography that Coe's outlaw reputation didn't quite match his claims, joking that the worst thing Coe had done was double parking on Music Row. Still, Jennings acknowledged Coe's sincerity and noted his knack for pushing buttons in ways that managed to both infuriate and endear. Despite the friction, Coe maintained friendships with both Nelson and Jennings. Nelson, known for his welcoming demeanor, often had Coe by his side, even when Jennings kept a more cautious distance. Coe's determination to remain true to his vision extended to his recordings. Albums like Human Emotions, 1978, and Spectrum 7, 1979, showcased his experimental side, with each album exploring thematic concepts. He also began incorporating Caribbean influences, evident in tracks like Divers Do It Deeper from his 1979 album, Compass Point. However, this period wasn't without controversy, as pop star Jimmy Buffett accused Coe of plagiarizing his hit Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes. One of Coe's most significant successes came with Take This Job and Shove It, a song he wrote that became a cultural phenomenon after Johnny Paycheck's 1977 recording turned it into a #1 hit. One hit. The song's working-class anthem struck a chord nationwide, even inspiring a 1981 film of the same name. However, many listeners mistakenly credited Paycheck as the songwriter, a misconception that fueled Coe's growing frustration with an industry that often overlooked him in favor of others performing his work. As the 1980s approached, Coe found himself navigating an industry shifting toward the slick, polished sounds of the urban cowboy era, epitomized by hits like Johnny Lee's Lookin' for Love. Refusing to conform to these trends, Coe doubled down on his outlaw image, releasing I've Got Something to Say in 1980. The album featured collaborations with country and rock legends like Guy Clark, Chris Christopherson, and Dickie Betts of the Allman Brothers Band, blending Coe's rugged authenticity with broader, more refined production under Billy Sherrill's guidance. Critics like AllMusic's Tom Jurek hailed the album as one of Coe's finest works, cementing his reputation as a boundary-pushing artist. By 1981, as the outlaw movement began to wane, Coe remained defiant. While the era of watered-down cowboy music was taking over mainstream country, Coe stayed true to his roots, refusing to compromise his sound or identity. His 1982 album, DAC, closed with a heartfelt prologue and a suite of songs dedicated to his loyal fans, acknowledging that his creative journey had always been about more than chasing radio play. David Allan Coe's career in the mid-1880s marked a period of commercial resurgence, proving that his distinctive voice and storytelling could resonate deeply with mainstream audiences. In 1983, his album Castles in the Sand, catapulted him back into the spotlight, climbing to number 1, 8 on the country albums chart, a peak he hadn't reached since Once Upon a Rhyme 8 years earlier. The album's success was driven largely by its standout single, The Ride, a haunting ballad that captured the imagination of country music fans. Released as the album's lead single, The Ride tells the eerie tale of a hitchhiker picked up by the ghost of Hank Williams, Sr., on a journey from Montgomery to Nashville. The spectral driver, described as dressed like 1950, half-drunk and hollow-eyed, questions the narrator's dedication and talent, testing his resolve to make it in the tough world of country music. With its vivid imagery and evocative lyrics, the song struck a chord with listeners, climbing to number 1, 4 on the Billboard country charts, and reaching number 1 on the Cashbox Country Singles chart. Its success made Castles in the Sand a critical and commercial breakthrough, fulfilling the vision Coe and producer Billy Sherrill had pursued throughout the early 1980s. Coe followed up this triumph with the 1984 album Just Divorced, which included Mona Lisa Lost Her Smile, a track that became his second biggest hit. This mid-tempo ballad, which reached number 1, 2 on the Billboard country chart, and topped Canada's RPM country tracks chart, tells the bittersweet story of a young blonde girl with parallels drawn to Da Vinci's famed painting. Sherrill's production, featuring lush strings and organ layers, added depth and warmth to the song, creating a striking contrast to Coe's gritty voice. Critics noted the emotional resonance of the production, describing it as a perfect blend of complexity and simplicity that highlighted the melancholy beauty of the track. Another standout from Just Divorced was Missin' the Kid, a deeply personal waltz about the heartbreak of losing a daughter after a marriage ended. Coe's weary, vulnerable delivery of lines like, "I still can't believe after all of these years I still miss you," conveyed an emotional rawness that critics hailed as one of the most sensitive performances of his career. The song delves into the guilt and sorrow of a father, imagining what his daughter might be told about him, and deciding not to disrupt her life further, even at great personal cost. The emotional weight of Missin' the Kid reflected Coe's ability to draw from personal pain and turn it into universally relatable music. In December 1984, Coe released She Used to Love Me a Lot, which climbed to number 11 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart. The song paints a poignant picture of a chance reunion between two former lovers at the Silver Spoon Cafe. While the man longs to rekindle their romance, the woman rejects him with the same indifference he had shown her years before. Written by Dennis Morgan, Charles Quillen, and Kai Fleming, the song showcased Coe's ability to breathe life into outside material, even as he continued to write his own powerful songs. The mid-1980s also saw Coe collaborating with Outlaw legends Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Jesse Coulter on his 1986 album Son of the South. These partnerships solidified his connection to the outlaw movement, even as the genre began to wane in popularity. His final album for Columbia, the concept record A Matter of Life and Death, released in 1987, marked the end of an era in Coe's career. By 1990, Coe reissued his notorious independent albums, Nothing Sacred and Underground album, on compact disc along with the compilation 18 X-rated hits. A pivotal moment came in 1999 when Coe met Dimebag Darrell, the legendary Pantera guitarist, in Fort Worth, Texas. Despite their vastly different musical backgrounds, the two bonded over a shared appreciation for the similarities between country and heavy metal. Their collaboration led to the creation of Rebel Meets Rebel, an album that blended Coe's outlaw country roots with the aggressive, powerful sound of metal. Recorded sporadically, Between 1999 and 2003, the album was finally released in 2006, 2 years after Dimebag's tragic murder. Critics hailed it as groundbreaking, with AllMusic recognizing its bold fusion of genres as a testament to Coe's willingness to defy expectations. In 2000, Coe joined Kid Rock's tour as the opening act, introducing his music to a younger, more diverse audience. However, the same year brought renewed scrutiny when the New York Times published a damning article by Neil Strauss, describing Coe's earlier works as among the most racist, misogynist, homophobic, and obscene songs recorded by a popular songwriter. Coe responded by denying these accusations, explaining that the controversial material was meant as ribald satire, inspired by his friendship with fellow songwriter Shel Silverstein. Coe further pointed out that his drummer at the time was a black man, emphasizing that his personal relationships and artistic intentions were often misunderstood. He also claimed to have reached out to Strauss during the article's development, but his correspondence went unacknowledged. Despite the controversy, Coe's creative output continued. In 2003, he collaborated with Kid Rock, writing Single Father, a heartfelt track that appeared on Kid Rock's self-titled album. Released as a single, the song reached number 50 on the Billboard Country Singles chart, demonstrating Coe's ability to craft music with wide emotional appeal. In 2006, he appeared in the music video for God's Gonna Cut You Down. Johnny Cash's haunting cover featured on the album American V, 100 Highways. Directed by Tony Kaye, the video featured Coe introducing Cash as the Man in Black, underscoring the connection between two artists who shared a commitment to authenticity and rebellion. As Coe entered the 2010s, his ability to collaborate with a new generation of artists remained a hallmark of his career. In 2017, he was featured singing Take This Job on the Moonshine Bandits album, Baptized in Bourbon. His appearance in the accompanying music video further showcased his enduring relevance in the evolving world of country music. Throughout his career, Coe's refusal to conform to industry standards often kept him off country music playlists and award stages. His 1977 album, Rides Again, is a testament to his unflinching approach to storytelling. Songs like The House We've Been Calling Home touched on taboo topics such as polygamy, while If That Ain't Country, I'll Kiss Your Ass courted controversy for its use of racial slurs and exaggerated depictions of a working-class Texas family. The song, with its coarse language and caricatured characters, drew sharp criticism and accusations of racism, which Coe staunchly denied. The controversy surrounding Coe's use of racially charged language was further complicated by his personal experiences. He pointed out that his years in prison, where he was often surrounded by black inmates, had a profound impact on him. In 1986, Coe once again ignited debate with the cover of his album Son of the South, which featured him holding his infant son draped in a Confederate flag. While many viewed the imagery as inflammatory, Coe included a message on the back cover to address potential backlash. He emphasized his pride in his son Tyler and his personal relationship with God, attempting to diffuse accusations of racism or regional bias by framing the image as a celebration of his family's Southern roots. With dreadlocks, braided beard, and earrings, he challenged conventional notions of masculinity and identity in country music. His unique style and unfiltered language made him a polarizing figure, often at odds with mainstream sensibilities. David Allan Coe's underground albums are among the most controversial chapters in his career, blending boundary-pushing humor, explicit content, and unapologetic defiance of social norms. While living in Key West, Coe was influenced by Shel Silverstein, the songwriter and satirist whose comedy album Freakin' at the Freakers Ball inspired Coe to explore his own comedic material. Encouraged by Silverstein, Coe recorded Nothing Sacred in 1978, an album released independently via mail order through the biker magazine Easy Riders. The songs on Nothing Sacred didn't shy away from shocking themes, mixing sexual explicitness with biting humor. One of the album's tracks was a direct response to Jimmy Buffett's accusation that Coe had plagiarized the melody of Divers, Do It Deeper from Buffett's hit Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes. Buffett, while choosing not to pursue legal action, quipped that he didn't want to give Coe the satisfaction of public attention. Coe retaliated with a scathing insult song aimed at Buffett, cementing their ongoing feud. The animosity even seeped into Coe's mainstream work, with his 1979 Columbia album Spectrum 7 containing a pointed jab at Buffett in the liner notes. Jimmy Buffett does not live in Key West anymore. Coe's Nothing Sacred wasn't limited to interpersonal digs. It also targeted prominent figures like Anita Bryant, a vocal opponent of LGBT rights. In the provocatively titled track Fuck Anita Bryant, Coe criticized Bryant's perceived hypocrisy, juxtaposing her moral crusade against her own flaws. These themes of rebellion, sexuality, and satire made the album a lightning rod for controversy. In 1982, Coe doubled down on his provocative style with Underground album, which included the infamous track Nigger Fucker. Written from the perspective of a man bitterly recounting how his lover left him for a black man, the song was widely condemned for its explicit language and racist overtones. This song, more than any other, cemented Coe's reputation as a divisive figure in country music, leading to accusations of racism. The album's explicit nature, coupled with this track, caused many to conflate Coe's work with that of Johnny Rebel, a singer associated with white supremacist music. This misattribution only deepened the controversy surrounding Coe. Coe, however, vehemently denied the accusations of racism. He argued that the songs on his X-rated albums were satirical and meant to provoke thought rather than reflect his personal beliefs. He famously stated, "Anyone that hears this album and says I'm a racist is full of shit." Coe pointed to his personal relationships as evidence, highlighting his close friendship with his drummer Kerry Brown, a black man, and the son of blues legend Clarence Gatemouth Brown. Brown himself described Coe as a controversial figure, but defended his work as part of a larger, unconventional artistic expression. When you live in the David Allan Coe world, you learn to be controversial, Brown remarked. Like other music legends such as Willie Nelson and Jerry Lee Lewis, Coe found himself entangled in a battle with the tax authorities that came at a significant cost. In 2003, Coe revealed the extent of his losses, stating that all of his songs written before 1984 had been sold during a bankruptcy proceeding. This included rights to iconic works like Take This Job and Shove It, a cultural anthem he had written and which had been made famous by Johnny Paycheck. Coe explained that a flood had destroyed his home, wiping out all records and documentation of his assets and earnings. This left him vulnerable when the IRS claimed he owed $100,000 in unpaid taxes. Unable to fight back without proof to counter the claims, Coe felt he had no choice but to file for bankruptcy. The rights to his pre-1984 compositions were sold for a mere $25,000, an astonishingly low sum for such a significant body of work. Reflecting on the experience, Coe admitted that while Willie Nelson had chosen to confront his tax issues directly, he had taken a different path. I chose not to. I'm totally straight with them now. The only income I have is the money I make on the road performing and from my new songs that I own. David Allan Coe's life and career exemplify the rugged, rebellious spirit of Outlaw country. Despite the controversies and challenges he faced, his music continues to resonate with fans and cement his place in country music history. What are your thoughts on David Allan Coe's legacy? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more deep dives into the lives of music's most iconic figures. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.